So with many of these action figures that were teased by Hot Toys in the past and even recently, are there trends and some evidence that point towards hope, that point towards the imminent release of these figures? Ancient action figure theorists say yes. And we've got the wizard juice right here that helps show and point towards this evidence. Let's go ahead and see into the future. Right now. All right, welcome to another episode of 100 Proof Shorts right here at 6 Scale Cantina. I'm your host of the show, Aries Tarrington, getting right into it. And we have to ask ourselves, why wouldn't Hot Toys put out all of these figures that are on the banner here that have not been officially announced, minus the Groot, and other ones that are not featured on this banner? Why wouldn't they put these out? And are there trends and signs of evidence that point towards not only one, but perhaps all of these are imminent to come out from Hot Toys at some point, and not necessarily so far into the future? You know, let's go ahead and take a look at these Batmans here, for instance. And I'll be quite honest with you. People were losing their mind when Hot Toys teased some of those Batman figures that we see on this banner right here. And really just pulling this up onto the screen, it was really, really exciting for a lot of collectors. Why? Because like Iron Man, like Spider-Man, collectors go crazy for Batman just as much as Spider-Man, just as much as Iron Man. So you do have to ask yourself, why would Hot Toys hold back from putting all of these out? Because they teased it. Well, first, let's be realistic, collectors. They're not going to come out with every single one of these versions of Batman all at one time, especially with the myriad of versions of Batman they already came out with in 2023. This was a glimpse that this is coming, and perhaps in 2024. Why? Well, first of all, 2024, there's far less things coming out for DC, far less things coming out for Marvel, hardly nothing with Star Wars. There's just really nothing in 2024, except a plethora from movies and TV shows and canon from the past, such as even more from this Flash movie. And the other thing you have to realize is that they came out with 100 figures announced in 2023. That was unprecedented by Hot Toys. And really, if you multiply an average of $275 per each one of those 100 figures, that would cost collectors that would get every one of those around $25,000. Do we really need, under that view, an extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on top of that, and of the same character? And for most of us, I say no. And especially, why would you blow your wad all in a year where there was so much to come out with, when you could save it for such as a year in 2024, rebounding from a writer's strike, and with nothing on the horizon to come out, you could come out with a few of these then. And I believe that that is partly exactly what is going on over here. They didn't put these out to say, ha ha, we're never gonna, and they're not putting it out to see if there's interest. They could put out Batman with Nicolas Cage's head. They could put out Venomized Batman. They could put out some lost comic that nobody has except maybe some monk in Tibet that found it under a barrel somewhere. And they could put that figure out as long as it just says Batman. They could even put one out with a Grogu baby. They don't need any data. Batman sells. Iron Man sells. Spider-Man sells. 107 would just be so much for that year, and quite frankly pointless in 2023 when you can use some of these for 2024. Furthermore, what are they celebrating this year? What did they say they were going to commemorate? And you can see right here on the screen, 85 years of Batman. And you do have to wonder, would this be a time? Would this year be appropriate for a couple of those figures that so many collectors were excited about, that so many collectors spilled their coffee about, to be able to put these out this year rather than last year? And I say, yes, that makes a little bit more sense to me. And look, they have these. They've teased these. Look at these displays here, baby. Are you kidding me? And when you look at certain figures, okay, as we go into some of these other ones on the banner, you're going to tell me that any one of these cool, epic Batmans, seriously, that, you know, they're going to sell, they're not going to sell good, or they're not going to sell as good as figures that, like this. Gore's going to blow them out. Gore is going to blow them out. Mighty Thor from Love and Thunder is going to blow those out. Or some trooper from the Mandoverse is going to absolutely destroy this particular figure. Everyone's going to say, worst figure in the world. Any one of these. No. It's literally because of time, and literally because of sheer numbers. Not because they're sticking it to you. Not because they have no intention of doing it. Gosh, give them a hand as it is. With everything that they're coming out with and everything that they promised us, are they answering the call on a lot of these? Yes. Can they put them all out at once? Thank God. No. It's not feasible. In any one of these Batmans, whether it's a Venomized Batman, a Batman with a Grogu, a demonized Batman whatever type of Batman, Batman will sell over and over and over and over again. Now, this right here, they've already put out Rocket and Cosmo. Cosmo, which not even on this banner, just like you don't see Gamora on here. But I've already got word from the Hot Toys Wizard that you're getting that artisan version of Gamora coming. Anyway, you see Rocket came out. You see that Nebula came out. You see that Star-Lord came out. You see that Groot came out. So you have to ask yourself, why would they stop and not put out Drax? Why would they stop and not put out Mantis? Is it possible because Drax sucks in the secondary market and Drax just doesn't sell in the secondary market and they've got no data that Drax can sell as good as Mighty Thor, or Drax would be in any sort of demand like Gore, or Drax would be in any sort of demand like the seemingly 3,922 Captain Americas from Endgame, either version, that are in stock? No. Surely because what are you going to put out in 2024? And you can not only come out with Drax in 2024, but you could come out with Mantis. You could also come out with Gamora, which I've already mentioned. Okay? Not to mention another version of Yondu. There's so much that they can do. And we have to stop thinking that Hot Toys only looks at the now. They have no knowledge whatsoever of what they're going to put out in 2024, or have no relationship at all with like Disney to be able to show, hey, what's coming out in the horizon? Oh, nothing's coming out there. Let's save this for that. Or let's do this then. Or let's do that then. Oh, we're coming out with 100 this year? My goodness, that much? Let's save some of these for then. But there's absolutely no logical reason to suggest that Drax would sell any worse than the Avatar figures they came out with last year. Or any of these Batmans would be blown away by those Avatar figures. In fact, they will blow those Avatar figures away. And we have to keep this in mind. Time has a lot to do with these. And I think the time is a lot less than what we think. You know, we look at these Inquisitors, and sometimes, you know, I hear it. Oh, they're never going to come out with them, and why should I buy the Grand Inquisitor? Or why should I buy the Third Sister? They teased these, they didn't come out. Again, do we really need 102 instead of 100 from last year? Do we really need all of that all at once? Or is it better, just like with the Guardians of the Galaxy, just like with Batman, in a year where it's going to be weak at best with new materials from these major IPs? Is it better to wait for a year like this? Could this perhaps be the year of not only 2.0s, but a year of characters that we haven't before received because there's nothing new to focus on? And I say yes. Let me point out some other things for you here as we go ahead and dive into this. This was the same story. It repeats itself, although the economy and the way things are with collectibles and everything right now is completely different. I remember this conversation over and over and over and over and over again. This ship has sailed. We're never going to get a Bespin Luke. It's not happening. They teased this, but why does Hot Toys do this? Why does Hot Toys put this out? Why did they not put it out? Why do they do this to us? And then what happened? They put it out and quite frankly worked on that head sculpt and absolutely blew it out of the water with this DX awesomeness from Hot Toys. This DX24, absolutely unbelievable. But we waited for years and year after year after year after year. Where is it? What happened? Why did they do this to us again? It came. It absolutely came. Let's go to more. You know, here's another one for you. And this one was all but lost. And I am so glad they took their time. This head sculpt's pretty good. But the one that they came out with blows this away. And this was another one where some of us collectors thought it was dead. And all hope is lost. And look, they already know that Padme's going to sell. They already knew that Luke was... Look, when they put that Luke up, that Luke was #1 for like 8-9 weeks. And that was during Multiverse of Madness. And I think Moon Knight streaming at the same darn time on Disney Plus. And that Luke from 1988, 9 weeks. She came out. She's up at #1 for 4 or 5 weeks. Anakin right next to her. Why? Did they not have this data? Did they not know that this wouldn't sell if they put it out earlier? Of course they were going to come out with this figure. And quite frankly, they did. They absolutely did. And pulling this up onto the screen, you can see this right here, this Kit Fisto. This was teased along when they went to conventions and other things with the Padme, you know, with some of these other figures. And you hear some stuff now, they'll never put out Kit Fisto. Of course they're going to put out Kit Fisto. Why didn't they put it out in 2023? Again, 100 figures, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot see in any way, shape, or form 100 figures in 2024, which they need to do in this economy. But I cannot see it in any way, shape, or form with new movies and new shows. Because they're just not there. So does this fit the bill for a year like this? Yes. And look, whether you look at this or whether you go ahead and you look, I mean, I'll pull this up onto the screen as well. There's the Qui-Gon. And yes, they did come out with the Qui-Gon. But why would we think that they wouldn't come out with an airborne trooper? Of course they're going to come out with an airborne trooper. They'll come out with every trooper. But when does it make sense? Last year, with all these shows, all these new IPs, all of these movies, and to congest? Have you ever been congested when you had a cold and need to cough up? Can you cough up more than the aforementioned $25,000? And for me, I say no. But in a year that's weak at best, with new things to look forward to in the movie theater with your main IPs or on television minus a couple of things, does this make sense? Yes. What else was teased? Gosh, how long did they tease? They're never going to come out with a super battle droid. Well, they came out with a super battle droid as well. Oh, they're never going to come out with a battle droid. And what did they do with the Attack of the Clones second anniversary? They came out with a battle droid as well. Oh, they're never going to come out with this fifth brother or the fourth sister. Really? People are buying the third sister. They're buying the Grand Inquisitor. They're going to buy that Vader. Of course they're going to put these out. It makes sense. Not only do they know that any Star Wars character sells, but when people are picking up those and then you whoop these on them, yes, that makes sense. Also, what have I been saying for so long? More and more announcements, which it looks like I was right on because we had the most we ever had in 2023. And what else have I been saying? Less production of those announcements. And what have we been seeing all throughout 2023? Figures continually going on waitlist at unprecedented times. So absolutely, it makes complete sense to come out with both of these. On top of that, stuff that perhaps are going to be shocks to us, like a full Hayden Christensen head sculpt and a throne of Vader from the Obi-Wan series. And perhaps an Obi-Wan in the outfit from the closing scene. Shoot, they could even do an Obi-Wan from his outfit he wore the first couple of episodes. They could also decide to do the dark side Anakin from that particular show. They don't necessarily have to do it from the Ahsoka series. Shoot, they could do dark side Anakin from Revenge of the Sith if they want to. And probably from upcoming content as well. Of course they would come out with these. Why wouldn't they come out with these Batmans? This is the year and years where they can project that they need to put out things as well. Look, guys, Drax, girls, Drax sells for $500 to $700 in the secondary market. It doesn't even make sense that they, even if they put out just $1,500 and put it in a queue system like that Warner Brothers 100 Artisan Beautiful Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, or just release $2,500 like the Artisan Scarlet Witch, or just $3,000 like they did with the Artisan Anakin, or $4,000 like they did with the freaking Joker Heath Ledger Artisan one, or $300 like they did with how many of these that one Batman or that Iron Man from those anniversaries. Of course this would sell. Again, 100 figures last year. What the heck are they going to be coming out with last year? And I've shown you figure after figure after figure, whether it's the battle droid, whether it's the super battle droid, whether it is Padme, whether it is Qui-Gon, whether it is Luke Bespin. You're starting to see some of those older ones from the old times, from when the freaking sequels were coming out and all this controversy. You're starting to see those come out from then. And I think we're going to get figures from then, like that Poe Dameron, like that Baze Malbus. I think you're going to get those that are going to come out. But these right here, absolute evidence to me points to that these are coming, and there's no greater time than 2024 to do that. And if you liked what you watched here today, you may want to consider becoming a Cantina Insider. Here's a brand new show just uploaded. Do companies, official distributors like Sideshow, really need or want stock? Or do they really want pre-orders? And look, all you got to do is just join the channel, see everything that it comes with, and I will dive into my assessment, my data, and my reasoning as to why I think one way or the other on this. You're not going to want to miss it. Go ahead and, again, just click on that little join button. It's cheaper than a dozen eggs and a quart of half and half and a gallon of gasoline in most places in the United States, baby. And I appreciate Your support, indeed. I don't always drink the wizard juice, but when I do, I do it right here at the 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends.